Hi, I wasn't gonna do this tonight. I'm so tired. I know it's late, but I wanted to keep my promise and stick with every day, even though I'm exhausted and have no desire. I mean, like, this is after the end of a crazy day. So, yeah. Anyways, today, I tried to get with you guys like all day. I tried and tried and tried. Nothing was like working. And then tonight, I had an amazing experience with this great pastor that I know and love. Um, and he's actually why I'm on here right now. Thanks, Jedediah. Um, so tonight, what I'm going to share was not what I planned on sharing even a little bit, but I'm going to go there. So there are things that I feel that I've been called to do. And it's not always something that I want to do. Trust me, I'm the last person that wants to do this. Everything in me is freaking out, scared. Even doing like these testimony things are absolutely scary to me. And I know if you know me, you know that I'm super outgoing and I'm, can talk to anybody type of person. But being real is just not something that I do with everybody. I keep it really, I know people think that I'm so like in depth with them, but really, I mean, not my real day-to-day stuff. I keep that pretty private. Jedediah asked me some questions that made me question myself, some things about myself that I was like, I don't know how to answer that. Which leads me to why I'm here right now. So what I'm gonna say is this. Yesterday I talked about depression, and what I didn't say is that I tried to commit suicide twice. The first time I swallowed a ton of pills, and Clarissa probably remembers this, maybe not, but I swallowed a handful of pills, like as many as like a lot. I think I want to say it was like ibuprofen and aspirin and like a bunch of like pain reliever pills, but I took a whole lot of them. I remember filling a huge cup, like a Taco Bell cup or something like that, with water from the bathroom, and just because I was in my bedroom and I had a bathroom, and it was just taking handfuls of like, it was like all the pills I could find that were like readily available. I was 16, swallowing all these pills. And then one of my girlfriends calls me and says, like, what are you doing? And I was just sobbing on the phone, crying, and I was like, I don't want to talk right now. Just my boyfriend had cheated on me, and I was all emotional, and it was just whatever. So I swallowed a bunch of pills, and she put me on hold. Actually, we had three-way back in the day. Remember those party lines? So the party line, my phone was in my room, and she put me on hold, said she was going to take another call on the other line. I didn't hide this from you, Kiss, I promise. I swear you knew this, but I did. It was over Frank too, which was like super, even more dumb. But I swallowed a ton of pills, and my friend, she put me on hold, and she clicked over and called my mom's phone on three-way and told my mom that she thought I was going to be a danger to myself. And my mom like busted my door down and came in my room and picked me up off the floor, threw me in the car, and like took me to the emergency room, and they made me drink like all this charcoal. Like, it was disgusting. It was like, looked like gravel in a cup with ice. It was so disgusting. And I remember it was black, and they gave me a straw, and they were like, drink it. And they were like literally standing on top of me like, drink it, drink it, drink it, drink it, drink it. And I was, blah. It was so gross and gagging. It was blah. So I puked and puked and puked, and they think I got everything out. And I was put on watch and the whole nine. And so that was the first time. I'm sorry. That sucks. I didn't know you did that either. Maybe I did, but I don't remember everything. The second time that I did it, was out of a rejection from my mom. And I remember fighting with her about something regarding her boyfriend, and her boyfriend like put his hands on me, and I was fighting with her, and she was at work one night, and so I had my son in the backseat of the car. And this is the part that hurts me, because I was driving, and my mom, it was dark, and I was like somewhere between like Graham and Roy, like somewhere out there in the middle of nowhere type of road. No, not your dad. Bernie. It was Bernie. He grabbed me and threw me up against a wall. I was fighting with my brother, with Joe, and we were arguing about something around his car, and my mom was like on the phone screaming at Joe, and I was like, give me the keys. We were fighting over car keys. And Bernie grabbed me and just threw me up against the wall. And I was like, you do not just put your hands on me. I remember being so mad. And I was like, I'm telling my mom. And my mom was like, oh, screaming in the phone, like, get over yourself, just drama. So I was like, I'm going to drive out to her job, and I'm going to tell her, yada, yada, yada. So I jumped in the car, and I threw Dupree in the back seat and drove directly to the school she was working at. And she was like, get out of here. I don't want to hear your stuff. Bernie told me everything that happened, yada, yada, yada. And she totally just sided with him completely, and disregarded everything that I was saying. And so I started crying, and I was all upset. And I was just, again, another rejection from my mom. So I'm thinking, if my own parents don't want me, why would anybody want me? Again, that was like the theme of my life back then. So I was driving home, and I was just started looking at trees and thinking, I could just slam my car into a tree and die, right? That would just be great, because then I wouldn't have to even deal with this pain in my heart with my mom not loving me, and I could just end it all right here. So I unbuckled my seatbelt, and I just started speeding up like towards trees, and then I would get close to the tree and pull away. And then at one point I realized, my son's in the back seat, and he was like 18 months old or 2 years old or something like that. And it dawned on me, I don't want to leave him in this world with her or someone else that's going to reject her or, him, and not take care of him. If they don't love me, why would they love him, type of thing. So I said, this is the part that hurts. I unbuckled his car seat. I pulled over and unbuckled his car seat and pulled him into the front seat with me. And I started driving again, crazy and erratic, and got like all up on a tree and would swerve away, and I couldn't do it. And I kept trying to do it and then couldn't do it, and I tried to do it and couldn't do it. And for those that don't live in the area, this area is like super desolate. There's like hardly nobody out there, especially late at night, and it's just like miles and miles and miles of trees and a 2-lane road, right? And so I would just be like, I'm just gonna just do it. But something just kept stopping me. I'd get right up on a tree and pull away and not do it. And I don't know, exactly, I know today what stopped me, but in that time, I just remember thinking, like, this isn't okay. Like, you need help. You can't, because I guess the thoughts that were going through my head were like, what happens if I live and he dies? I would never be able to live with myself, right? That was one of the thoughts that kept stopping me. Then there was like, okay, if he flies out a window and I see that would like hurt me. So I didn't want to hurt. It wasn't that I wanted to hurt him. I didn't want to hurt him. I just I couldn't leave this world and leave him in it. And so if I was going to go, he needed to go. And I know it's sick and twisted and all of that, but I pulled back from all of that, and I ended up pulling over to the side of the road and just crying and crying and crying and crying and crying. And I remember asking God, like, if you're real, show me you're real, because this sucks. Like, this life sucks. And being just so heartbroken with my life the way that it was, right? And just feeling like there has to be more to life than just this. There has to be more to life than this. So I was not going to cry and do all this. I decided last minute, okay, I'm not going to kill him. I'm not going to kill me. And I cried and I repented and I put him back in his car seat. And I found like a Christian station on the radio. And I was just like, okay, God, if you're here, like, you have to like show me that you're real, because I don't believe right now that you're real. I don't even know what I'm thinking or feeling. I just knew that it wasn't okay. It just wasn't right. So I ended up going home and just feeling really, really, really guilty. Really, really, really guilty. And I think that's when I started going to Life Center, because I was just looking for anything that felt real, or normal. And God was normal to me at that time. So I say all of that to say that even though at that time, 25 years ago, 4 years ago, around there, my life looked absolutely hopeless. I was a high school dropout. My mom was a drug addict. She was recovered at the time, but still, drinking and drugging and that type of life. My husband had left me. We were getting a divorce. Single mom, no education. Nothing. It just looks so hopeless. Like nothing can change, right? Things can change. Totally change. And yes, it's taken me 25 years, but for those that know, a month ago, I'm walking across the stage collecting a master's degree. 6 years ago, walking across the stage getting my bachelor's degree. 7 years, or probably 8 years ago and 9 years ago, I got 2 different associate's degrees. It's baby steps, right? It's baby steps. You have to do something to change your life. It doesn't just change just because you want it to change. It doesn't just say, okay, well, I don't like the life I'm living, so give me a new life. Poof. It doesn't work like that. I mean, you have to do the work inside. You have to want to change. You have to seek the change. You have to change who you are and things about yourself to get to the next level of things in life. Yeah, I had to go to counseling for 100 years. I think it was 7 or 8 years or something crazy. I had to work out issues and decide, because honestly, look, this is the truth. I failed algebra in high school, all 4 years that I was in school. Failed, 0. And then when I started college, I failed it 5 times. In college. 5 times. I'm not smart. I know that whatever people say, I'm not smart enough, or I don't have this. That's such a lie from the pit of hell. I can't even tell you how much of a lie that is. I failed algebra 5 times as an adult, with a tutor and studying, and failed over and over and over and over and over again because I didn't understand it. And it wasn't working through it till I don't know what made me pass it the 6th time, but I did. And I got a B. And I was like, my God, there's a God. He helped me pass. I'm really. So I say all that to say, getting an education, I'm not pushing anybody to school, but I'm just saying, for me, I didn't think I was even capable of that life 20 years ago. Somebody going to college was so not in my head. I didn't even see that life for myself. I didn't even think it was an option for me. I never even thought I was capable of getting any type of degree at all. It just was never something I thought about or even considered. I never wanted it. I never was oh, you know what? I'm going to go to college and get this. I didn't even think I was capable. I was I'm just dumb girl. I mean, I don't really know those kind of things. And life happened. Somebody believed in me. Somebody challenged me. And each step of the way, I started to believe it myself. Seriously, I went to school initially to get a certificate to be a real estate agent. That's the truth. In 2007, I walked into a school and enrolled to take 4 real estate courses so that I could get my real estate license and become a real estate agent. But what happened in 2007? The market crashed. And I was okay, well, now what? And so my counselor's like, well, you've already taken these classes. Why don't you just get like an associate's in real estate? And I was like, who wants that? So I started towards that. And I didn't even think an associate's was possible. I was like, can we just like finish like another certificate program or something? Because an associate's is just too much for me. And if she's watching, she'll tell you, because she was there and she's on my friends list. And she will tell you, I totally like sat in her face and was like, I'm not that smart. I can't do that. And then she kept pushing me. And she said, I think you can take this. So I think you should try to take that. And I think, well, what about this? And she just kept pushing me into these classes. And I was just like, this lady's crazy. She doesn't know what she's talking about. I mean, I'm just going to fail. So I kept failing algebra over and over and over again. But she would put me in classes I liked, like business classes that excited me. And I was like, oh, I really like that. And then the next thing I know is like, well, my grandma has Alzheimer's and I can't continue to go to school because my grandma's going to die and I'm going to break, my heart's going to break. And so I need to be with my grandma. And she said, oh, but let's just look at something real quick. And she highlighted a bunch of stuff on a piece of paper and handed it back to me. And she said, okay, you're like 9 classes away from graduating. And I was like, what? Really? Me? And she's like, yeah. I mean, what I'm saying is that I didn't even see it happening when it was happening. I didn't even know it was happening. It was just like, okay, it's happening. I didn't try for it to happen. I wasn't like seeking this nothing. And anyways, I hope that anybody out there that even considers suicide or even thinks that their life doesn't have worth takes pauses, that they pause and they really consider, what does 20 years from now look like? Because honestly, if you would have asked me 25 years ago, if 25 years from then, if I saw myself where I am now, I didn't. 2 more kids, I wouldn't. I have two daughters I didn't have back then. I have 4 degrees that I didn't have back then. I have 100 things going for me that I didn't have back then. Would I have these things? I mean, really, my kids are 25, 20, and 13. And eventually one day I'm going to be a grandma and, things like that are going to start changing. And hopefully Prince Charming comes along. Maybe I already know him. I don't know. But hopefully he comes along and that changes. Maybe 25 years from today, I'm sitting there like, wow, if I would have known you would have been here, then, I would have done things a little differently. I don't know. And I don't know like what that looks like for you, but I just want to share that. That's something that I definitely did. And I'm so thankful to God that he kept stopping me that day and that he didn't allow me to do what I felt like I wanted to do in that moment, because I cannot imagine my life without my son. And for those wondering, yes, I've already told him the story. He already knows. He doesn't know I'm going to post it, but he knows. I'm a mess. My kids know I'm a mess, and they know that I've done a lot of crazy things. And that's what makes me me. So I did it today. I think it's still before 12. I don't know. My Fitbit died, but I'll be back in a couple hours. Hope you guys are having or had a great day. I definitely did, but I'll talk to you guys more tomorrow. Love you.